show, but rolling pre-stream.
I was going to say.
Yep, we're going to record into nothing this week.
All right.
Get my TV channel situated. What channel is Celtics on? They're on an 8.
TNT.
44? 245.
Is this the guy that was stabbed? So next week Eddie's going to be on, right?
Yeah, next week.
Yeah, cool. I'm talking to him a little bit here on Twitter. I followed him and all that, and he's like, "Oh, Lugs." I'm like, "Yeah, right." Hey, let me refill my water bottle up real quick, all right?
All right, I got to share everything still, so.
All right, yeah. All right, I'll be back in a minute.
If I bleed tonight, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Lugs podcast. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Chiggity check.
You stand up on your own, or you need some assistance? Here. Here you go. There you go. Okay. Take a seat right there, Steve. Thanks, buddy. You don't really know what you do. Couple seatbelts. Did you have your wallet when you started drinking today? No. Did you do all set? Okay. All right. Well, we'll get that figured out too. Office for residential buildings and newer buildings. He's not a resident, so they gave him a call to see because he wasn't waking up. So what we found is that right now he's not really with it. He said he was losing drinking, so we're going to take him to the hospital and make sure he's all right. You can put your hands down if you want. There you go. We have cameras following us around. Got a pretty experience of being on that one.
Do you think that saying we're going to have to call the police because it convinces us whether they should get treated?
It does at times because sometimes these situations they have the choice of either going to the hospital and getting treated or they may end up in jail for public intox. So it does happen all the time.
How does this happen?
The asking if they're going to the hospital or jail question a lot, but it does happen a little more often than probably like that. That was crazy. All we want to do is help. Just answer our questions and then we got to that, but we can answer it. Yeah.
You saw it firsthand right there. And it says we are live tonight in all 7 cities. But remember that we ride with these departments all week long, including at Mesa, Arizona. An SUV rolled over onto its side. Inside that SUV, a man is
Oh, geez, we got bystanders there that are trying to rock the vehicle, and somebody's already buttoned up to get us step away. Yeah. Here we go. Stay right there. We're gonna get you out.
How on earth did you come out of my vagina? I was so busy. Oh, my nipple! I am starving. This looks amazing. When I was doing his diaper, he peed in his own eye. Should I be worried about that? I peed in my eye after to see if it was starving. Okay, we're ready to go. Yes. Do you have a diaper? Yes.
My partner's gonna grab your dog right now, okay? Just be careful.
Can you also grab my donut? No, the one I sit on.
It's on the other side.
So when he cries like this.
Now listen, you're gonna drop down a little bit. Okay, here we go. Here we go. How's that? Okay, no neck, back, or head pain. Don't feel like anything's broke. You think that with my help you can twist up here and get out of this? Okay, wait, we got some blood going.
Can you slow down?
No. We can't put 3,000 pounds either, Bob. Hold on, 1, 2, 3. Got him? I'm getting out. I'm getting out.
This dude.
He had a small one in his hand,
Get
and
up.
make sure we got that.
Or get down.
dog was terrified in there. So the dog was basically clear at that point. Make sure that he's the dog out first. We don't want to get by anybody. So, that could be a
Whew.
All right, ready?
I feel 10 pounds lighter, but
Oh, Jesus. That was live.
oh, was it?
All right, here we go. Roll an intro.
Yep.
After that mess.
Yeah, that was a mess.
All right, roll an intro.
If I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. And if I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'll fall asleep when I'm home. When I'm home.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 61 of the Loose Lugs podcast. I'm your host, AJ. With me, as always, my co-host, Ryan.
AJ, what is happening, my friend? And yeah, I know I already see the gear on. Actually, I don't see the gear, but I know you're deked out in your Bruins gear. Congratulations on getting past Columbus and moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals.
That was a way tougher series than I thought it would be, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that crowd and I can't stay in the city of Columbus for obvious reasons, but from a hockey aspect, them fans showed up and showed out. That is for sure. They were pretty damn loud.
Oh yeah, uh, and I was like, I couldn't believe how loud it was there in Columbus. Those fans are something, let me tell you. And that cannon, it
So,
scares me once in a while.
yeah, for those that are about to rock, boom, there goes the cannon.
Like you expect it, but like even on TV, it's loud.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And I tell you what, though, Carolina's been the surprise of the playoffs. I mean, you guys, I still think you're going to get by Carolina. I think in 5. I just think the magic Carolina has and all the injuries that they have built up, I think it's going to finally catch up to them.
Yeah, to add to your point though, you got Boston has their best defenseman, Charlie McAvoy, suspended for the first game. So
Oh, he got a game suspension.
just a game, which I'm
I just,
okay with. I am completely okay with because if you think about it, tonight would have been Game 7, and it's a
yes, it
good
was.
thing that we took care of business on Monday night,
Exactly. Yes, definitely, definitely.
and it's a good thing they did too because we wouldn't be able to record this podcast tonight.
No, no, we would have been what, tomorrow night,
Yeah, we would have had to have pushed it to tomorrow night.
and then tomorrow in Livonia at the Roush, they got their first open house. They got the museum open. Last year, May, they had the trophy room open. I got some awesome shots of some of the trophies. McMurray's win in Daytona, the Kenseth Daytona 500 win with the Juan Pablo Jet Gyre incident. I do believe that trophy's there as well as Michigan win trophies and everything like that. So that's tomorrow. So we may take Logan and
What drivers are
have
supposed to
him.
be there?
No, no drivers. To my knowledge, no drivers. I think the drivers are only going to be there in June and August.
Oh, I didn't think about it. It's kind of a short week with Kansas being a Saturday race.
And then with them running on Monday.
Yeah, that's a wicked short week. We had rain. We had the Derby, a
Yeah.
controversial Derby.
Yeah. The horse I picked to win maximum security was the best horse on that track.
And that horse
And
actually won. Like there was no photo finish. That horse won.
yeah, he won by a good, 3 or 4 foot lengths, as we like to call it in the horse ride.
Furlongs.
I don't know what they. Yeah. So
Good
yeah,
thing you
we
didn't put
were,
any money on it.
Yeah, no kidding. I've been pretty mad. I guess there's a video going around on Twitter and all these social medias about people that were at the where they turned the ticket in for the win. They're like, oh, we can't turn him in yet. There's an override or overwrite or
After
I don't know, whatever it is.
after the Bruins game Saturday, I was on my way home and I had actually flipped on the station that the Bruins are on my
Yeah.
phone, and, knowing that it wasn't going to be any content from that station. It was going to be from like CBS New York or somewhere. Just so I could hear some aftermath of the game. And the first person I heard call in was a person who manned one of the ticket windows at the Derby at Churchill Downs,
Yeah.
and he said the amount of people standing in front of his window because they thought that maximum security had won, and how pissed they were when they found out it was overturned.
Yeah, I see now, and I was talking to one of the guys at work with who he watched the Derby too, and I'm like, in racing, in all forms of racing, you're told to keep the lead no matter what, and that's what the jockey did. He said the horse got spooked or something like that.
Dude,
I don't know.
I gotta think about this. You can't tell me this is the first Derby where something like this has happened.
Yeah, exactly. I guess that not for the win. Logan was pretty mad about the
I can
Derby
hear him.
outcome too. Yeah, Logan was pretty upset about that Derby too. Because you can ask Sarah though, my arms are up. I'm like, I picked a Derby winner, woohoo! And I did it on the podcast too.
You know, I left my buddy's house right before the Derby started because when I was watching it, I was like, all right, cool. It's 5:30. Here comes the Derby. Well, no, they had so many races still before the Derby. I was like,
Yeah.
let's go out, let's do the errands we got to do, and then get back here in time for the game. And it was like 7 o'clock. We had just got back, and before I got out of the truck, Maximum Security has won the Kentucky Derby. I was like, Ryan picked the winner, and as I was about to send you the congratulations text, I flip on NBC because that's what channel the game's supposed to be on, and see that they're all standing around, and I'm like, shouldn't there be a like roses on the horse and all that right now?
Yeah.
And then they were going over the replays, and I was like, did we have like a photo finish? And then like 30 minutes later, it's all about the Maximum Security not staying in his lane, but which I still don't understand because, like I said, in years past, I've seen horses that have gone in other lanes and all that coming to the finish line.
Yeah, and it was cool too because we were watching a little bit. We before we ran out. We ran out after work on Saturday, and so we're watching the pre coverage, and they're like, "Yeah, Dale Jr. and Rutledge Wood are here." They're in the infield, and Junior's like, "This infield's like Talladega. I love it and all that." Junior definitely had him some fun.
Did Junior not look like a fish out of water?
Yeah, but
no, it was
he
awesome.
He had fun,
and he was great on TV. It's just like you look at Dale Jr. at the Kentucky Derby, you're like, this is not his place.
Exactly. Logan, Dale Jr. was on TV, buddy.
See, he stopped crying.
Yeah, it worked. See.
This week, our Kentucky Derby recap is in our Saddle Up segment.
Yeah.
That is going to be sound clip. That is that is your new rant intro.
What yeehaw?
Yeah, you going yeehaw. That's going to be the new Ryan's rant intro.
And boy, do I have a rant this week. Also, there is a prior to us going over the Cup race, I want to do a shout out, and it's a very well deserving shout out for sure.
All right, what did you do this weekend besides that, though, Ryan?
I cut the grass Saturday. The grass needed cut. It looked like we had a jungle, so got the lawnmower fired up, and we cut the grass and just hung out and kind of took it easy.
A crisp 60 degrees where you are right now?
Yeah, it was on Monday. It was like 75. It was nice.
Oh wow, heat wave.
Yeah, no humidity, nothing. And then what was it? Tuesday, yesterday it was like in the 50s, and today it was up in the 60s. So
middle fingers up to you, Ryan.
Yep, thank you. I appreciate that.
You saw my day.
But yeah. Other than that, just enjoying life around the house and with the baby and the wife. And before we get into the show, I know we got a very special day coming up on Sunday. I'm going to take time right now to wish my wife a very first Happy Mother's Day, and to my mother as well. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. But yeah, Sarah's first Mother's Day as a mother. She's doing a fantastic job.
It's also your mom's first Mother's Day as a grandmother.
Yeah, it is my mom's first Mother's Day as a grandma too. But yeah, like I said, Happy Mother's Day early to all the moms out there. Enjoy racing Saturday night and getting spoiled on Sunday.
Oh yeah, I saw a tweet earlier today that because Game 2 for the Bruins hasn't been announced yet, and it said, "Can we just find out when Game 2 is, so this way we can know if we're disappointing our mothers for lunch on Sunday?"
Well, I think they're going to do it not every other day. I think this round, for some reason, they go 2 days off. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. It's going to be the rest of the games line up on if the Blues, or not the Blues, if the Avalanche win tonight. Because if the Avalanche win tonight, St. Louis is booked Friday for a Cher concert. Which would have to put that game Saturday, which would put the Bruins to Sunday.
Yeah. And how about them Blues last night? Double overtime game.
If Dallas would have won that, what a shame it would have been. I mean, not for the fans or the team, but for St. Louis, man, what a shame. You put 50-something shots on net. They can't put any more than 4 in 2 periods. And
hats off to Ben Bishop. He would have been the reason that Dallas won that game.
Stood on his head.
Yeah, I had fallen asleep right before the overtime on the couch. Sarah comes downstairs, and she's like, Ryan, wake up. And as soon as I wake up, the puck goes in the net for the game winner.
Hey, perfect time.
For the Blues.
And my horse that I picked in the Derby.
Yeah, and how cool is that, too? The guy that got the game-winning goal, Patrick Maroon, former Oiler, by the way.
St. Louis native.
Kid. Yeah, St. Louis native. And did you see his kid in the stands?
I didn't, but I know that it was
Oh,
his number is
he
number
was.
7. He gets the game winner in game 7. It was like a perfect storm.
Yes, it was. Man, what a great sports weekend.
Yeah,
Except if you go ahead.
we also had racing on a Monday.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Well,
But
we had pay slips on Sunday,
yeah, we did have pace. I think I put on
and
was it Twitter or what? I don't know where I put it, but I was like, well, Mother Nature is the winner of the Gander RV
yeah,
400 for Sunday.
yep. And boy, do I have my well, we're gonna pre-warn everybody right now about my rant, and that's what my rant's about right there. What they did on Sunday. So we're giving you a little precursor this week on the Loose Lugs
Well,
podcast.
let's dive in head first into this, Ryan. Let's get into some gas and go.
All right.
Gas and Go, we're recapping Dover, all 3 series in action this weekend and Monday. Kicking off things, we had the Gander Outdoor Truck Series, and Johnny Sauter wins his 3rd straight Dover race. Ryan, can anybody beat that man at Dover?
No.
That was short and sweet.
Yeah, Moffitt tried. I mean, watching the race, and it was nice to see the truckers back in action after what 30 some days off, 35 days I think they said today on Race Up, 35 days. But there was a point in the race where it was the front 5 that were nose to tail, and everybody's like, does anybody have a move for Sauter? Nobody had anything for Sauter.
No, Sauter had that truck dialed in, and I remember before I had left for softball Friday night, it was they were talking about it like Sauter is just so dominant here that I just don't see anybody beating him, and that's on the broadcast. And I was like, yeah, that's in my recent memory. Yeah, Sauter dominates that place.
That he does, and he just gets that truck dialed in, and a winning with the new team. Good to see that. So
they were battling those trucks this weekend. They were all over the place.
Yes, they were, and I think it was Ross Chastain at one point came sideways, and normally at Dover, if you get sideways, you're going around, and he did a hell of a job keeping that truck off the wall.
It was cool seeing Moffitt and Sauter 1-2. It's like, oh, there's Sauter's old ride. Let's see if it was the driver, if it was the truck.
Exactly.
What else do we have in that one? We had the late race caution with Sheldon Creed and Todd Gilliland.
Man, nasty hit.
I gotta say, Gilliland kind of avoided pure destruction in that one.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You had Sheldon Creed coming down the racetrack, and he did hit Todd Gilliland, but it didn't completely destroy that truck.
Exactly. So, man, good truck race.
It was a very solid truck race, and I saw you posting about that on Twitter afterwards, how fun that truck race was.
Oh, it was a phenomenal race. Had everything you needed. Good battles on the track. Your late cautions. Sheldon Creed, as you mentioned earlier, he's going to be a guy to be reckoned with in this series for years to come.
I'm actually curious if I picked him in the in our.
No, you picked.
We'll go over it when we get there.
I know.
I don't want to. I want to keep this like suspense building because I have an epic comeback to mount.
Okay, all right. But here,
What's that?
Oh no, nothing.
Your stage winners of this one: first stage, Brett Moffitt; second stage, Johnny Sauter; and your race winner was Johnny Sauter. Your top 5: Johnny Sauter, Brett Moffitt, Harrison Burton, Grant Enfinger, and Matt Crafton. Your standings following this race: Johnny Sauter, Grant Enfinger, Austin Hill, Brett Moffitt, Stuart Friesen, Ben Rhodes, Matt Crafton, and Harrison Burton. Your next race is Kansas this Friday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern on FS1.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Hey, look at that. You have a month off, and now you're going back-to-back weeks.
Talk about a crazy schedule.
Yeah, no kidding. Whoever made that schedule, I don't know.
You can't really plan anything.
No.
Moving on, we got the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and Christopher Bell overcomes, and I consider this an upset, a dominant Cole Custer for the win at Dover. I say upset because Cole Custer damn near led every single lap in that race.
Yeah, he was a man possessed is what I like to call it. But give credit where credit's due. A late caution. Bell's crew gets the job done on pit road, gets him out in the lead. And I've noticed it was in the truck race. And actually, it was in all three series this weekend. On the restart, the high lane was the way to go.
Yeah, just seeing that low lane couldn't get any grip on a restart. Even
Yeah.
in the cup race, it was brutal. If you started in that inside lane,
well,
you were dropping 2 or 3 positions.
at least, and like it happened at the start of the cup race on Monday, which I actually was able to see that. And like the top lane goes, the bottom lane takes a while to get going, and yeah, I mean, happened in the Xfinity race. Bell, once he got that lead, I don't think there was anybody going to stop him, and there wasn't.
No, Bell's one of those drivers when he gets in the lead, especially late in the race, it's a done deal.
Yeah. Now I have a question to ask you. Now,
What's
with Christopher Bell doing what he's doing in the Xfinity series, should Eric Jones and or another driver be worried?
Yes.
Because it's just a matter of time before he's up.
Yes, and I only say this because if Gibbs is afraid of losing Bell, because he's going to get a cup offer here soon for next season. I think I don't know if I can even say Denny Hamlin at this point needs to be worried, being that he's already won 2 races this year.
Yeah.
But I also don't see Eric Jones having to give up that 20 ride because he's shown even in the races he does poorly in, at some point in that race, everything looks good for that team. You know, it's like late in the race, they'll either have a penalty or they'll brush the wall that'll kill the car. But up until that point, it seems like he's always running well.
Oh yeah, definitely. And look what happened with William Byron. I mean, for example, he was riding with Kyle Busch Motorsports, and they didn't have any room for him. He goes to Junior Motorsports, and next thing you know, he's up in the Cup Series. I mean, they're not gonna make the same mistake with Christopher Bell. That's for damn sure.
Who's to say, Kurt Busch at Chip Ganassi or Daniel Suarez with Stuart Haas? Who's to say that one of those two aren't? I mean, they only have 1-year deals, I believe, right?
Yeah, I do believe so.
So who's to say that Bell doesn't fill one of those rides? Along with, you could have retiring drivers. I mean, Jimmy Johnson is up, I believe, next year.
Harvick is soon,
Harvick is always questionable when he's retiring or not, because Harvick's one of those guys who's
getting that ride.
Custer has to be a shoe-in to get one of those Stuart Haas rides, you would think. It's going to be it could be one of those times where you see regular faces in the Xfinity series.
Yep, the Xfinity races are sometimes better than the Cup races.
Well, at least it doesn't rain on those days, it seems.
Yeah, exactly. Or how about the days like when there's no Cup guys in the Xfinity races? How awesome those races are. That Saturday was great. I mean, like you said, we had a very dominating performance by Custer. Car goes away from him late. Like I said, a great pit stop by Bell's team, and they get the job done.
That's what it came down to. It was that pit stop. But even before that caution had happened, Bell was closing in on Custer, and he was the only guy who could do it all day. So it's only fitting that he ends up winning the race.
Exactly.
Ryan,
I don't remember if there was a big caution.
I was just about to say this because this whole weekend kind of went almost incident-free.
Yeah, exactly. I remember
Kaz Gralla made a hell of a save on the backstretch.
Oh yeah, he did. I remember a few years ago, Logano flipping, barrel rolling at Dover, and then
that was a Monday race too, wasn't it?
I think so.
That was when they.
Well, yeah, there wasn't nothing. No big caution. So I mean, a disappointing run for Noah Gragson though in the 9 car. I mean,
Ryan, I'm gonna only mention these two things because of our last week picks.
Yep.
Riley Herbst, pit issues, gives you the win in the Xfinity Series, and even with a wreck at the checkered flag between Zane Smith and John Hunter Nemechek.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, no, there goes my guy crashing, son of a.
Oh, don't worry.
I'm
I
like,
picked the guy who had a pit issue.
yeah. It always happens like that. So
Well, your stage winners in this one, first and second stage, both won by Cole Custer, and your race winner was Christopher Bell. Your top five: Christopher Bell, Justin Allgaier, great run by Allgaier, Tyler
yes,
Reddick,
it was
Cole Custer, and
another good run.
Chase Briscoe. Yeah, Allgaier and Reddick. Reddick, after winning last week in Talladega, backs it up with a third place here at Dover. That team's
Man, it's
starting to
a
move
good
in the
thing.
right direction.
Exactly. It's a good thing Tyler Reddick doesn't do horse racing because he had probably been disqualified for Talladega.
That is true. Your next race is in 2 weeks. It's Charlotte, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern on FS1. Your standings following Dover, as I did this backwards, so now I'm confused. Christopher
boy.
Bell, Cole Custer, Tyler Reddick, Justin Allgaier, Austin Cindric, Michael Lynette, Chase Briscoe, John Hunter Nemechek, Ryan Sieg, Noah Gregson, Justin Haley, and Brandon Jones got it right.
All right.
Moving on, you got the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series from Dover. This race was this is where I put it. I didn't tweet it. I put it in our show notes. Rain wins on Sunday, leading
Yes,
to
it
a
does.
Martin Truex. Another Monday win at Dover. This is his third in his career, with his first career win being a Monday race at Dover.
I think if anytime we go back to Dover, I think he wants to run it on a Monday, even if it's bright and sunny out on Sunday. No, well, I can't. We can't go out there. There's something wrong with the track, so we got to run it on Monday.
He has won only 3 times at Dover, and they were all on a Monday.
Mm-hmm. I saw very little of the race due to the fact working. I'm like, so I recorded it and I skimmed through it though, and I tell you what, we had mentioned it previous, but that high lane, Alex Bowman, it was near the ending of the stage 2 I was watching,
When Truex caught
and
him.
yeah, because the radio broadcast, I love listening to the radio. Just they get so into it. Bagley, Bagman, awesome to hear him
You
again.
hear the first
But-
lap. If you tune in midway through in that first lap, you go, "What is this? The last lap already?"
Yeah, exactly. And then but I had to go rewatch it. Like Bowman went way up high, and then Trix goes underneath him. But that high lane, Bowman caught right back up to him. I'm like, he might get him back, and then he never did, obviously. So
Yeah, I was. Well, let me preface this story by saying I also too had to miss watching the race.
damn Monday races.
No, I actually did get to see quite a bit of it, being that I was actually on lunch break when the race started, so I got to watch.
Likewise, same here. Our lunch is from 12 to 12:30, so I watched about a half hour of it on my Fox Sports Go app. You had mentioned to me about the NASCAR app, so I downloaded the NASCAR app, and they're like, "Oh yeah, MRN. Oh, here's the Motor Racing Network broadcast. I'll listen to that." And I got all my details I needed. All of my stage winners, the pit strategy, and yeah.
What I was getting to, Ryan, was as a fan,
Yeah, go ahead.
I was kind of pissed because Chase absolutely dominated those first 100 laps.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And then
I was like, we're gonna
even
get
with the
ourselves another one.
Yeah, the Hendrick boys are looking pretty good lately. The last 2 weeks.
Yeah, with Chase leading 145, the most laps led, because Truex only led 132. You talked about Bowman. Bowman finishing second last week, backs it up again with another second place finish this week. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked you last week, and you said no, not yet. Is Hendrick Motorsports back?
I think they're getting there. I want to see what they do this weekend at Kansas, a 1.5-mile track. Tracks they've been struggling at lately. So I tell you what, though, I think that 88 crew, they finally they've hit on something. They've hit on something. I think Bowman's confidence. I think his confidence was down a little bit, and then all of a sudden now, it's something clicked. Something clicked.
Even
with him, and now. Go ahead.
Even with 2018, with them getting 3 wins, they still seem at a place now where they, as a team, are a tenfold better than what they were last year at this, throughout the entire year. Which is a
Exactly.
great thing to see when, you're like us who are heavy Hendrick Motorsports supporters. It's definitely a breath of fresh air. Even Johnson for a little bit was up in the lead. I know it was on a pit cycle, but he was still, Hendrick's starting to lead laps. You had Bowman pretty much almost dominate stage 2 until Truex got to him.
Yep. Byron led a couple laps too. I think this was the. Oh yeah, they said it on. Larry Mack said it. This was the first race since Michigan at a non-restrictor plate race that all the Hendrick cars led.
Yeah,
And it was the one Michigan race that I missed.
and it was such a great battle, but at the end of stage 2 with Truex and Bowman, even Harvick was in there in third. A thing I found funny though was at the end of stage 1, or I'm sorry, right before the pit stops on stage 2, there was a caution. Cars come down, or was it stage 1? I'm now confused. I think it was stage 1. I think it was a competition caution.
All right.
Cars come down. Logano, Byron, they take 2 tires. They get out first. Logano
Yep.
wins the stage, but doesn't end up starting on the lead on the second stage because they also came back down to pit. And I just found that funny in a way.
It threw him off a pit cycle too. You can ask Sarah too. That was my biggest gripe last year with William Byron. They were always taking 2 tires. And I'm like, all right, Chad Canales is on the pit box. Don't have to worry about them taking 2 tires. Listening to the radio broadcast. Oh, and Logano and Byron both out with 2 tires. And I go up to Sarah. That son of a bitch took 2 tires. It paid out in the end. He got a top 10 finish, so I'll take it.
Are you there?
Are you on mute again?
No.
Yeah, I thought you were on mute
I
again.
couldn't hear you. You'd like the tail end of your sentence cut off.
Uh-huh.
But no, the William Byron with the 2 tires. I understand though where Canales is coming from as opposed to last year when they did it, because Canales is in a spot with Byron where you're looking to get stage points, any bit of extra points possible. So you got to kind of take those gambles early.
Yeah, because he's like only 4 points out of a playoff spot right now.
And he was way down there before this race, wasn't he?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I think when I checked last week, he was down in the 18th, 19th area.
You know what? Helped him out too was last week at Talladega after he crashed. Chase is coming by, getting ready to do the burnout. There's Byron crossing the start-finish line right there.
So he did finish the race last week.
Yeah.
That's right. I remember the camera panning over to that shot.
Yep. The car may be beat, battered, and torn, but guess what? I'm going to go get across that finish line and get me the points I need to win or finish this race.
Yes, sir. So we had some more aero package discussions this weekend.
Yeah.
Friday after qualifying, which, Chase Elliott qualified on the pole. Just throwing that out there.
And how about the video I sent you too? William Byron not barely lifting.
It was nuts this weekend. The speeds were insane. The speeds were so crazy that we have a veteran driver and Kyle Busch complaining about the speeds on Friday, saying it was too fast. The package is brutal, whatever. Then you had Chase in his interview say, well,
we're paid to go fast.
Exactly. We're paid to go fast. That's what we do.
It was smart ass, but I loved it, what Chase did. I absolutely loved it.
Then after this race ends, we had some comments from Kyle that
I didn't hear these by chance.
Well, let me try to pull it up for you, because it was pretty good. It even got Dave Moody in on it.
Moody. Nice.
Dave Moody is awesome.
Yes, he is.
Moody has just a way with words, and he doesn't care who he says it to, which is awesome. But the comments from Kyle Busch, I gotta find it now. I was supposed to have this ready before our show started, and I didn't pull them up. There it is. I've got it.
All right, I was gonna do something real quick. But go ahead.
This package, and this is all quote from Kyle Busch after the race. Quote, "The package sucks. No expletive question about it. It's terrible. All I can do is expletive about it and fall on deaf ears, and we'll come back with the same thing in the fall. And Dave Moody's response, in other words, I didn't win. So
Nice.
my problem with it, Ryan, is just I respect the hell out of Kyle Busch. He is hands down probably the most talented driver in the field. But, correct? Can we agree with this?
I agree with that. Yeah.
Why, when it seems he has a bad car or something bad happens to him during the race, does he just find the nearest microphone and stick the proverbial foot in his mouth?
He's always been like that though. Like if something's not going his way, you remember when Toyota first came into the sport and they were struggling, and he was like, "Yeah, Toyotas are we're 5 mile an hour slower than all these other cars." Then Toyota started winning, and they finally started catching on with their program. And next thing you know, everything's all hunky dory. Now that he doesn't like this package, now he's going to complain about it. I guess it's just a driver's sense is what it is with all these guys. Because De Benedetto was on with on NBCSN tonight on their NASCAR America, and he didn't like the package either. But he's like, I'm not going to, there's nothing I can do about it. It's what we get paid to do, basically. Is how he said it.
I think it was Jeff Gluck who said that. What I'm trying to think of how he phrased it. I'm gonna paraphrase it. It basically, drivers are, no question, drivers have skill, but they don't have the ability or the possibility of passing other cars when they get into dirty air. And I say this, then how did the new drivers get the skill to be beating up on the old drivers? As we've had this transition, you adapt to your surroundings.
Exactly.
You have to find a way where you don't think there's a way. You have to, work at it. You have to find the way around.
That you do.
And so be it. If you have to, give a driver a bump and run, so be it.
Give them exactly.
We're at a point now where this is the racing, and as fans, I've enjoyed it. You've enjoyed it.
I have. There's been a couple. Not really one race that really sticks out that I didn't really care for. They've all been entertaining. They've all had great battles for the lead. Yeah, there's been times where it's been harder to pass at other tracks, but that's to be expected with this new package.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was an entertaining race, especially for a Monday race. I didn't see any of the ratings
Great
afterwards.
crowd, by the way.
It
crowd,
was
by
a
the way,
great
on the
returning
Monday.
crowd for a Monday.
Yep.
Which is
I know
another
there's
thing
a
we
lot
haven't
of
seen in a while.
people. Yeah, there's a couple people on there like I'll never go back to Dover. I've been a season ticket holder since '98 or something like that. And it's like I responded, I'm like, if you didn't like the racing, then don't go back. There's other tracks that you can go to.
Yep. Yep. Um, Hamlin spins, has his crush panel destroyed
Yeah,
on the car. It
Skip.
releases all the carbon monoxide into his car, and I know I put it on the news aspect of it, but
scary situation.
I'm gonna
Very
put
scary.
it. I'm gonna put it here. That carbon monoxide poisoning. It's a pain in the ass. It's not good.
Nothing to mess around with either. And especially, I think they said it was 135 laps left that this particular incident happened where he had all this monoxide. And I noticed too when I was watching the interview with they were interviewing Bowman, and you seen Hamlin on a cart, and I'm like, oh, probably when he got in the wreck, probably some gases or fumes got into the car and everything like that. But yeah, they just released it. It was carbon monoxide for sure. So pretty
Yeah.
scary stuff, man.
It's not something to mess around with. That's for sure.
Now, do you think they're going to look into something with the car now to prevent this from happening?
I don't know if there's a way you can prevent it from happening.
I don't think there is either, but I know they're probably looking at the car.
Yeah, I mean, you got in 2020, you're gonna have a brand new car, the Gen 6, Gen 7. I think it's Gen 7.
Yeah, Gen 7. Yeah.
So maybe they'll put something in to kind of avoid that from happening. But I don't know. It's definitely an issue that we need to address as a sport.
I know, like I said, and people know that we're not the biggest Denny Hamlin supporters on here, but that's you don't want to see anything like that happen, especially inside a race car or anywhere for that matter. That's some serious stuff right there, man. Glad to see he's okay. He was back at the shop yesterday. I guess he was in good spirits, so definitely good to see.
How about the battles with Bubba Wallace trying to stay on the lead or be the first car a lap down?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
You want to talk about some entertaining racing in the back of the pack? That I was focused in on that for the 4 or 5 laps. Was it him and De Benedetto back and forth
Benedetto.
for that
Yeah,
spot? You've had great racing all over the track with this new package. I still don't understand why people don't like it.
I don't either, and that's the beauty part about going to a race too, though. You know, like especially at MIS, though, the leader can pull away for a little bit, but there's other great battles going on back of the pack. I remember one race in particular I went to, and it was Dale Jarrett and Jeff Gordon were 1-2. It was a caution-free race. Those two were, lean. They were putting the field to shame. But there was battles back in the pack. You had Mark Martin battling, all these other guys like Bobby Labonte that they were nose to tail, and everybody's like, that was such a boring race. I just watched the leaders the entire race. Let's see, that's when you go out there and you look, you can see everything. It's not the TV just focusing on one particular instance. You can watch anything. I'm sure you probably do the same thing at Daytona.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean Daytona a little bit less though because you pretty much see it all in plain sight.
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. No, but it's like especially when like when pit strategy at a restrictor plate track or now super speedway, it'll split the field into 2 or sometimes even 3. Yeah. You got to pay attention to other spots too, just because it's such great racing all around.
That it is, and go ahead, man.
You want to have a yawn break over there?
I'm good. Well,
Sponsored by Credit One Bank.
Here we go. Credit One. Woo-hoo.
I did see something this week that was NASCAR is changing up the way they do the Coca-Cola 600, where at the end of stage 2, that's when they're going to bring the cars down on pit road for the salute to service they do. How they normally did it on the parade lap, they're now doing it after stage 2. And someone had responded with, and have they released who's sponsoring that segment yet? So
did you go over the stage runners yet?
I was getting there now. I got sidetracked a little bit.
Okay.
Your stage,
that's okay.
Your stage winners: first stage Joey Logano, second stage Martin Truex Jr., and third stage Martin Truex Jr. Your top 5.
By the way, another stage 2 winner wins the race.
Yeah, it's been almost. I think they said every race this year, just about. The stage 2 winners won except for 2.
I think there's been a couple exceptions. So
your top 5: MTJ, Alex Bowman, Kyle Larson, Kevin Harvick, and Chase Elliott. How about that? 3 Chevys in the top 5.
Yeah, nice to see Kyle Larson have a nice race this weekend.
I
don't know if
was this his only second race he's finished this year.
I think so. I don't know if you watched any of it, but they did a piece. It was him and Jeff Gordon. They went to the spiritual shop and everything like that. And there's they're explaining to him what these people are, what's going on with them. And this lady brings about a bunch of candles and like trying to give them good vibes and everything like that. And I guarantee you Saturday night they bring it back up.
They have to. At this point, it's working. You have to.
It was great. And then Gordon's like, I'll buy it for you and all that. And you see all these, like I said, all these candles, all these fragrances and everything in between. And it was just, it was insane.
Celtics need to try it.
Yeah.
Did you hear what I said on that?
Yeah, the Celtics need to try it. They're done tonight. So, and by the way, Paul Pierce, oh boy, people are going to roast him on Twitter. And the other people that said it too. Not just Paul Pierce.
Well, they're currently down 15-7, which, with 5 minutes left in the first quarter, I do believe Milwaukee scored 5 points in the first minute of the game.
Oh,
so,
nice.
It's just, I can't wait till that season's over.
Kyrie's going bye-bye.
Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out.
Well, you probably want Marcus Smart gone too, so.
Honestly, at this point, I want Kyrie Moore gone.
Okay. All right. I'd be happy to take him in a Piston uniform, but ain't gonna happen.
And you can have him. You can have him with a basket of basketballs.
I would be happy to take that. We'll give you Andre Drummond.
Your standings following Dover. Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex Jr., Brad Keselowski, Chase Elliott, Kevin Harvick, Ryan Blaney, Kurt Busch, Clint Boyer, Kyle Larson, Alex Bowman, Eric Jones, Daniel Suarez, Eric Almirola, and Ryan Newman. Your next race is Kansas this Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on FS1.
I'm surprised they're not doing Saturday primetime on Fox.
They must be competing with something.
It might be. Oh, I think there's like boxing or something on Fox or something.
The world of boxing. The wide world of boxing.
It should be curling night in America, but that's all right.
Hey, don't you mess around with curling night in America.
I'm not.
That was a funny
I
conversation.
saw a conversation. Yeah, you guys had earlier in the crew. I was laughing at that. So.
Ryan, let's get it tire up. We got some news this week.
Oh yeah, I got my news. I gotta get it ready.
Left side. Pull this left rear fender out, left side.
News this week: Kevin Harvick will run the Millennial car at the All-Star race. If you don't remember the Millennial car, Busch Beer guaranteed Kevin Harvick winning the championship, or he would run a Millennial-based car, and it has finally come to fruition.
Nice.
I don't know if you've seen the scheme yet or not.
Yeah, I seen it. It looks like pink almost. Really weird looking car.
Yeah, I saw that this week, and I go, oh, Kevin's got to be pissed.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's got.
I think it looks like a cool looking race car.
That'd make a cool little diecast.
Yes, it will.
It's almost like when Kyle Busch in the Nationwide Series raced that pink car with the unicorns and rainbows on it back in like 2009.
Speaking of throwbacks, went to the local Walmart and they had the diecast of the Austin Dillon throwback to the Goodrich 3 and the silver, and I'm like, ooh, mine. So yeah, definitely another addition.
That's kind of the original Silver Bullet.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Which that car actually wrecked in that All-Star race.
Yes, it did.
But a little news for you you betting folks out there. NASCAR and the Action Network announced a betting partnership.
Nice.
So NASCAR is now taking advantage of the whole gambling being legal in plenty of states now. They're kind of getting into it, getting their hands on it a little bit. It's room for more money.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, exactly. Imagine going out to the, for the Daytona 500, or me going out to any one of my races and have them having a betting desk right there where you're like, hey, give me $100 for the 19 car to win today, and there you go, $100, and then they have to do it by odds though, hopefully.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be set to probably like Vegas odds or something like that.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's another reason for more people to come out to the track.
Yeah, exactly. I'd go to the races no matter what, but still, that'd be sweet.
Oh yeah. That's all I got for news. So Ryan, what do you got?
Really quick update. Dover, Kyle Larson and the 41 car, they had lug nut violations. Both crew members were fine. Yep, no problem. Both crews were fined $10,000. And the weather report for Kansas this weekend. Currently, they're under a flash flood watch, I guess. So we might have to watch that, taking into considerations.
We're gonna be racing in boats this weekend.
Hell yeah, hydroplane and that shit right there. But Friday, mostly cloudy, 63 degrees. Saturday's cloudy and 64. The race starts at 7:30. 61 degrees for the race Saturday night as of right now on Wednesday. Maybe the weather will change, but it looks like you got a little cold front if you're heading out to Kansas this weekend. So
it's a beautiful night for racing. And when
50 degrees,
when Eddie Greer comes on the show next week, we get a lot to talk about because he's, I believe, going to that Kansas race this weekend.
That should be a good time. So
Always a fun
definitely a
time.
good part of the country too, Kansas Speedway.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, we got a social media update to do.
All right, AJ's time to talk.
Yes, sir. See if I can get the names right this week.
All right. And my time to shut up. Woo-hoo.
We are up to 1,390 downloads on Podbean, iTunes, and Stitcher. We have, Ryan, round of applause here. A little pat on the back for ourselves here. 311 followers on Twitter, which it's not so much a pat on the back for ourselves, it's a thank you to you guys out there who have continued to show your support for our show. We can't keep doing this without you guys, you know?
We love doing it. We love doing it every week. So
Like I repeatedly say to Ryan all the time, you know, I didn't know if we'd even get 10 people who listen to the podcast, and the fact that we have 300 people just following our Twitter page is awesome. So with that being said, I'm going to show you what we're going to give you away, or what we're giving away to one of you lucky followers on our Twitter account.
AJ, before you show anybody, I do want to mention I wish I was in the running to win this because I think both of them are pretty sweet.
So we have kind of a rare item. We have a 2019, as I'm showing the camera on YouTube, I'll post a picture to the Twitter. And so for those of you listening on the on any of your podcast apps that we are on, you can look at it later. We have this Ross Chastain autographed hero card in the 42 DC Solar, the car that he was supposed to race this year for Chip Ganassi before that operation folded up. It's a little bit of a rarity item, and let me see if I can get the autograph there.
Yeah, yes.
And also a new little piece that we're adding into it. We have a 2009 Dale Jr. National Guard gold chrome finish 124 scale diecast. That'll be going away to one of our lucky followers. And the little rules to this giveaway. Naturally, you have to be following the channel because it's only going to be one of our followers that win it. But you have to have something NASCAR related on your profile, whether it be in your name, or your username, your profile picture, your bio, or if any of your first 5 tweets consists with something NASCAR related, you will win the giveaway prizes. And we're gonna do it next week after the show ends. I'm gonna get the randomizer out, and we're gonna randomize the list of followers 5 times to where it spits out one winner. We'll verify that your account has all the requirements, and we will give it away. All the requirements, you just need one of those things that I mentioned. So it's going to be awesome. So stay tuned next week after the show with EG3, and we will be doing a giveaway.
And good luck.
Good luck, yes sir. 72
I did
likes
like in
on
that
Facebook.
movie Taken when he's like, good luck.
72 likes on Facebook, 25 subscribers on YouTube. New follower shoutouts, which we have a boatload to go over to the point where I didn't write them down, so this way I could get all your names right this week. We have Mackenzie Cove at Mackenzie Cove. We have KC Pup Mom 17 8 9 88 12 at KC Joe _ Lab Mom 88 9. Larry Parlier. I don't know how the last name is pronounced, but either way, I gave you 3 pronunciations to hope that I got it right. At Speed Pro 1963. We have Kimberly Kirchner at Kimberly Adele, as I was about to say Adele 48. We have John Lanrigan. I'm just going by what the last name is on the Twitter handle because it's just John at John _ Lanrigan. We have Bruce David at SimRacer1018. We have Kenny at KG Marine 66. We have Scott Wagner at 1985 Wagner. And Joe Tukovitz at J _ Tuck 34. That does it for the shout-outs this week. Our podcast shout-outs include the Lap Traffic Podcast, the PTM Racing Podcast, the My Opinion Therefore Fact Podcast, the Alternates No Breaks Podcast, Going 3 Wide with EG3, who will be on this show next week, and the Side Draft Podcast and the Final Lap Weekly. It's going to be a fun show next week. Make sure,
yeah, it is. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Make sure you get your questions for Eddie ready.
Oh, me? Oh, easy.
You are a man with a lot of questions.
I am very the man with the like. That game 20 questions. I invented it.
You will find out what you're wearing without even seeing.
Oh,
You- wow, that took a turn for the worse.
that is.
Places you
Instead
could.
of turning left, we're trying to turn right.
I'm just gonna keep moving forward. Places you can find us
Oh.
on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, and YouTube by searching in your search bar the Loose Lugs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe and follow. Turn on that notification bell so this way you get notified anytime we upload new content. And so you can hear Ryan's favorite bell of all time.
Ding.
On Twitter, we are at Lugs Podcast. You can tweet us about the show using the hashtag LugsPod. And on Facebook, we are in your search bar, the Loose Lugs Podcast. Our personal Twitter handles, which I've been more active on mine this week, at Grey Goose F150 is mine, and Ryan?
Rencola 88.
Ryan, I don't have the yeehaw bit this week for the podcast, but I will have it ready for next week.
All right.
It is time for your rant, sir.
All right, guys. I got 2 of them this week. So one not
Buckle
so much
your
rant,
chin
and
straps.
one. Oh yeah, the chin straps are buckled. The pads are on. We're ready to drop the gloves. It's Game 7. Let's go. All right. I get the reason why NASCAR tried to run the race on Sunday, due to the fact that you have a lot of people coming from far distances to enjoy themselves at the racetrack. But you have a guy probably specifically looking at the radar saying, there's no way in hell we're going to get this race in or even remotely start it. So why would you run the cars out for 5 pace laps and bring them back down pit roads like, oh, we're running it Monday? I don't understand it. It was a waste of time. You knew Monday's forecast was a whole hell of a lot better than what it was on Sunday. Like I said, with that being said, I get why they did it. I get why they try to get it in. And to me, it was like they were only going to try to run to the end of stage 2, and that was it. They didn't care about the 400 miles or the 400 laps. They just wanted to get it to the end of stage 2. With that being said, during the rain delay, I noticed one driver and one driver only. A couple drivers were doing it. It was autographs here or there. But Joey Logano, your champion of last year, took time to go into the stands and mingle with fans, signing anything and everything, taking photos. He was taking pictures. Guys that had Kyle Busch stuff on, Jimmy Johnson stuff on, Kevin Harvick gear on, Joey Logano gear on. He was doing it all for the fans. And hats off to Joey Logano. You are an inspiration to the sport, and this is what the sport needs. More people like you to do things like this during the rain delay. With that being said, I did see Bubba and Ty Dillon and a couple others signing autographs as well.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to see. Joey Logano's done that before. I believe it was Daytona during the rain delay.
Yep.
And he was.
And how
Go ahead.
about Denny Hamlin shaking the hands of the imaginary people, by the way, on Sunday?
That was so funny. I sent you that video.
What?
I was laughing hysterically.
But AJ, why try to get the cars on track when you knew there was more rain in the area that was on its way?
I don't know. I'm going to take a page out of Joey Meyer's book here, who said this on Sunday. If you call it before the race, like before the scheduled time, fans are going to complain. If you call it on the pace laps, fans are going to complain. If you call it 4 hours after the race was supposed to start, fans are going to complain. You can't make everybody happy with that. It sucks that you can't race on the scheduled day, but it happens. I would like it earlier. If you know rain's going to be in the area and it's going to be there most of the day, just call it. Give the fans a whole race. I understand that we want to get the race in for the fans who have to work or go to school or what have you on that Monday, but just get the full race in its entirety, flag to flag.
Exactly.
Not starting the race on Sunday and ending it on Monday. Get it all in one day.
Well, when we went down to Bristol, I was scheduled to go back to work on Wednesday, just to the fact, okay, I'm taking Monday, Tuesday off, in case it rains on Sunday. They're going to run it on Monday. That way, Tuesday we can drive back, and Wednesday I'll be back at work. I planned ahead of time because I had the vacation time to do that. Not a lot of people, they're there for they've already taken the days off to get there. What Thursday? Some get there. Is it early? Excuse me, is Wednesday. I get that. I get that. But it's terrible that they actually did that. That they had everybody show up and you know be like, yeah, we're gonna do the national anthem, the driver intros. Petty's gonna give the command. We're gonna do a couple pace laps and we're gonna stop.
Yeah, I take 2 days off the days after Daytona, that Monday and Tuesday, just because I'm fearful after the last rainout we had at Daytona that they were running on a Monday night. So
Which was great.
it was, but so just so this way, I still have that extra day, being that it might be raced on Sunday or Monday night, that I can still
Exactly.
get home, recover a little bit, then go back to work. So
Oh yeah,
I understand people can't do that.
Yeah, exactly. A day at the race, you're drained. I mean,
Oh yeah. Well, we were at the point of the show where you have pretty much taken over the white flag segment.
that's right.
Let's get into some predictions this week.
All right.
Tight, keep working the mirrors. In line with you, coming to the white. Only two.
Ryan, being that you won the Truck and Xfinity Series races last week, you win the week by a score of 2-1. You now lead the season by a total of 15-11. I need to mount a serious comeback here. You get to go first this week, though, as Siri thinks that I am talking to her.
Oh, hey, Siri, how you doing?
No, don't say that. That's what starts her.
Oh, well, she can't hear me, can she?
No. It's
don't
either
think
the
she can
Alexa
hear me.
or the Siri that's going off. One of the two.
Yeah, one or two. So yeah, I'm gonna take the 46 truck this weekend. It's gonna be driving by Riley Herbst this weekend in the truck series. Anytime that 46 truck's been in for Kyle Busch Motorsports, seems to have some speed in it. I think he's gonna run great this weekend. So there's my pick on Friday night.
I'm taking the 99 of Ben Rhodes.
Good pick, very good pick.
I got to swing for the fences without using the big guys.
Yeah, and I've been thinking about my cup pick, and since I did mention him earlier on the show during the rant, being a great ambassador for the sport, give me the 22 of Joey Logano. I double checked, make sure I did not go pick him at all this year, and I have not picked Joey Logano. Give me the 22 Pennzoil Ford.
I'm going with the 19 of Martin Truex Jr.
Nice.
I'm going for
my dark.
he runs pretty solid at Kansas, and
Yes, he does.
I need a winner.
Yep. My dark horse, man's been on fire lately. Give me the 88 of Alex Bowman.
Taking the 31 of Tyler Reddick.
Reddick's in the 31 this weekend?
He is.
Nice. I didn't check the entry list.
Sleeper pick should be worth extra points.
Right.
like
Yeah,
like a half point.
Yeah, like if they win.
If your dark horse ends up winning the race, we're gonna call it now. You get 5 bonus points.
Okay.
I like that.
But your dark horse, I would say, has no more than 5 career wins.
Oh man,
So a little,
I could still. You telling me I can still pick Chase as a dark horse?
yeah. Well, he's got what, 4 now?
I pick Larson as a dark horse. I could pick Blaney as a dark horse.
Yeah.
Does Paul Menard have more than 5 wins?
He's only got 1.
Yeah, I could pick Paul Menard.
That the Brickyard, the Brickyard 400.
Eric Jones. You have opened up my world of possibilities here.
Yeah, I tend to do that. So,
I'm looking forward to it this weekend.
But yeah, Kansas Speedway. See, the rules package got nighttime racing, Mother's Day weekend.
It's gonna be a fun one, man. It's gonna
Everyone's
be a fun
back in the Eastern Conference Finals.
First time since 2013, where we had the epic collapse against Chicago.
Yeah.
Not so much epic
let's see.
collapse. It was only Game 6, but still.
Mm-hmm. See if I have anything else to add on here. I did the penalties. Yeah. I think I'm good on my end, man.
Well, if you are good on your end, then it's about that time, Ryan. Why don't you hit the folks with it here?
Hey guys, I hope everybody has a great rest of the weekend. Once again, very special Happy Mother's Day to my wife. Her very first Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, all the moms. We will see you at the track.
Special thanks to Kieran, Patrick, and Patrick for coming out in our chat and talking with us about some racing. Special thank you to everyone who's listened in and downloaded this podcast. Even if you watched our live stream tonight and didn't say anything in the chat, we still appreciate you for coming out and watching our banter back and forth and listening to our banter back and forth. Thank you to everyone who helped us reach our 300 follower giveaway. Like I said, that'll be done next week. Other than that, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. You know, happy Mother's Day to my mom, and happy Mother's Day to Sarah.
Thank you.
First Mother's Day for her.
Yes, it is.
It's gonna be a good weekend. Spend some time with your moms. Watch them racing Saturday in Kansas. We'll see you next week.
Later.